What's up, guys? It's approximately 11 o'clock in the morning, and I just woke up. Actually, I didn't just wake up. I woke up maybe about an hour ago, but I decided to stay in bed because, you know, it was comfy. I feel like I have some type of slight depression or some shit. But regardless, I got my cowlick here. It's looking nice and fancy. Okay. I wanted to talk about something. I know that there's a lot that's happened this week, and I'm sorry I haven't really made any videos. I've been working a lot. Angelica also had her wisdom teeth removed as well. So, I was with her for a lot of the time, helping her. So I wasn't really paying attention to a lot of the stuff, except for a few obvious things, which I don't know if I'll ever make a video on. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about Nintendo because, as you guys know, I'm actually a pretty big Nintendo fan. I really like to play Smash Bros. That's really my game. Smash Bros, but I love Mario. I don't know how I feel about Pokemon. But Nintendo's always been there ever since I was a kid. You know what I mean? I always used to love Nintendo games. I had a GameCube. I had a Wii. I had a Wii U. Okay, that should show you how much I love Nintendo, that I have a freaking Wii U. And I have a Switch. And I really, really enjoyed the Switch for a long, long time. And now we're on the Switch 2. And I haven't gotten one yet. And I just keep thinking, I was talking to one of my friends that I used to play Smash with way back in the day, back in college. And I was asking him, I was like, yo, do you have a Switch 2? And he does. I was like, listen, I'm debating on whether or not to even get a Switch 2 or to get like a Steam Deck or something. I have a lot of games on Steam, and I enjoy playing them. I feel like it'd be really cool to play some of them on the gamepad, like Expedition 33. Hollow Knight, I know, is on Switch 2, so you could play that on the Switch 2 or the Steam Deck, whatever. But there are a couple games that I have on Steam that I think would be really cool to play in handheld. Now here's the thing, right? All of this debating in my head, should I get a Switch 2? Should I get a Steam Deck? We just had a Nintendo Direct, 2 days ago? I watched it yesterday, and I just want to go through it real quick because I just don't really know how to feel. You know what I mean? There's some things that are cool, most things that I'm just like, meh, whatever. But let's go through it. They started it with let me go ahead and put y'all on the screen here. They started it with the Mario 40th anniversary, right? Which they have a lot of different things that they're doing in terms of drawings. They have the Super Mario World, which is cool. I do want to go there. They have a museum. They have a race. I'm pretty sure a marathon. Look. Hold on. Well, they have a marathon that I'm not going to run. They have a museum that I'm not going to go to. They have the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Now, that looks really cool. The only thing about it is it's not a game. You know what I mean? It's not a game. So, that's not going to help me get the Switch 2. The Super Mario Galaxy movie does look really interesting. The first movie was really cool. But let's keep moving on here. They got Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2, right? Which I think is just fantastic. The only problem is that I have Super Mario 3D All-Stars on my Switch 1. So I already have Galaxy 1. In order for me to get Galaxy 2, apparently it's going to be $40, right? Which I guess is not horrible. But I don't know. I just feel like the value of these AAA games, in my opinion, is just it's kind of dwindling, right? The value. Because $40, right? Hollow Knight Silk Song is $20. And Expedition 33 is $50. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Both of these games together, apparently, they have a bundle for Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2, and it's $70. $70. The Switch 2 is also $450. I don't have a Switch 2 yet. I'd have to spend $450, $40 to get this, $70 to get DK Bonanza, which they have coming up here, by the way. They have something on DK Bonanza coming up here. Which, let's go ahead and, let's just keep going on, bro. Galaxy 1 and 2, they're $70 to get both of them if you don't have the 3D All-Stars, right? Whatever. They have these amiibos, cool. They have Tennis Aces, whatever. Tennis Ace, Mario Tennis Fever, I'm sorry. Whatever. They have a little thing here that, talks. Y'all played Super Mario Wonder? I don't have Super Mario Wonder, but they're coming out with a Switch 2 edition, which means another $80 version of a Switch 1 game. I don't know. Let's keep on going here. They have Yoshi's Storybook, which, whatever. It's whatever. It doesn't really appeal to me. It just seems like something that would be too easy. They have a lot of indie games. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling through here. I mean, they have this I don't know if y'all ever played Tomodachi Life back on like the phone. I used to have it on the phone, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it looks cool. You know what I mean? It looks cool. Hey, let's skip through a little bit. So you can walk around in this land. Talk to some people. Doesn't seem exceptionally challenging. Just seems like something to chill out on. You know what I mean? Very cool. They got Mortal Kombat. A remake of Mortal Kombat. Or I guess a re-release, I suppose, right? Final Fantasy VII is coming out for the Switch 2. And you know what? Now that we're coming up here, here's a couple indie games. Hades 2. They got Kirby Air Riders, which does look really cool. I will say that. It does look really cool. I love Sakurai, man. I love Smash Bros. If I love Smash Bro, I gotta love Sakurai, bro. That's the homie right there. And you could tell this is a very Sakurai-ass game, bro. You could tell. It looks like really, really similar to Smash Bros. Not gameplay-wise, but presentation-wise, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know. That looks cool. But I don't know. What I was going to say is what I'm noticing is that there's really not a lot to really, really grasp my attention like crazy. Even this Hyrule Warriors game looks cool, but I just feel like none of these are system sellers. They're not moving me enough. Dragon Quest VII, another re-release or remake, whatever. They got the freaking Virtual Boy, which, bro, I've heard a couple people that are really excited for this, like, online. I can't say that I'm one of these people. Jesus Christ, this thing makes me look really red. Oh my God. I can't say that I'm one of those people, right? I can't. I really can't. They got Fatal Frame remake, Oh man, they got a couple cool games. They got Metroid Prime 4, which they finally gave a release date on. But again, this is something that we already know about. To me, I know this is a big game for a lot of people, but to me, this is not a system seller. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be, but I don't know. To me right now, when I see Metroid, I'm not necessarily like 100% hyped up. It does look good. It looks like a good game. And here we go with DK Bonanza. See, here's the thing about DK Bonanza, right? This game just came out about a month and a half ago, or like a month ago, or sometime really soon. It was in July, 2 months ago. This is a $20 DLC, which again, guys, this game is $70 already. And then to get this DLC is an extra $20. You could either get this DLC for $20, or you can get Hollow Knight Silksong, bro. Or you could get Hollow Knight Silksong. Or you could fucking play Marvel Rivals. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, at the same time, I will say this. DK Bonanza, DK Bonanza is a really fun game. So if you really, really like the game enough, maybe this will be worth it to you. I haven't played it yet. I'll tell you what. If I did have a Switch 2, I would easily cop this game. This is one of the games that I was like looking forward to, just in general. But now they got DLC for it, and it just came out about a month ago. Now this next one in the Direct is a very, very interesting game. Very, very interesting. Now this one's called Pokemon Pokopia. So you have the premise of it is you're a Ditto, right? You got this Ditto. And I almost feel like I want to make a video just on this alone. He wakes up, or he comes out of a Pokeball, he looks at his trainer, his old trainer, essentially becomes his old trainer. Look how goofy this is. When I first saw this, I was like, what the hell is going on, man? What is this? What is this? What are we watching here? And you walk around, but you see a Bulbasaur. Now, with these, you can pretty much learn different moves, and almost kind of create your own island. It's almost like a Minecraft / Animal Crossing type of game. Because look, you bring the grass right out, you know what I mean? And you can start placing the grasses around. And with Squirtle, which you're going to see here in a second, you can water them. So you're really like creating your own kind of island. Now, I'm going to tell you something about this real quick. I'm going to tell you something. I really think that this is actually kind of cool. Like, unironically, when I saw this, I was like, man, like I said, I first saw the Ditto, I was like, what is this, bro? I hate Pokemon, bro. They're just so lame. They do everything mad lame. But then, when you start getting into this point, like, you're starting to build shit, and, like, you're starting to, like, I don't know, craft and build your own little Pokemon village? That is interesting. That is very interesting. And like I said, I almost feel like I want to make a whole video on that, man. Maybe this is why, you know, Nintendo's coming at Power World so damn hard, because in a way, it's almost like, it's just Power World. It looks like without battling, which I mean, I feel like I'll talk about this eventually, but if there's no battling, you know, it's still cool, but it's just like not as cool as it could be, at least in my opinion. Good start, good little spin-off, you know what I mean? But I think it'll become something better than a spin-off, in my opinion. Alright, next up we got the freaking Legend ZA, which, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell how I feel about this. I really liked Arceus. I don't know. I could just, you know, it's one of those things where you really can tell that it's still gonna have, like, cheap cutscenes and no voice lines and... You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I'm not entirely sold on this game. And you know it's gonna be like 70, 80 bucks. One of those higher priced games. And I'm sorry, but like 70, 80 bucks for something like this, man. They should make these games like 40 bucks, bro. I'm gonna be straight up with you. If you're gonna cheap out on the cutscenes and no voice acting, bro, these games need to be $40 or something. You know what I mean? Or 30. They don't look like $70 games, bro. Not with the way that things are these days. You know what I mean? Does it look cool? Yeah. You know, but does it move me? No. Is it a system seller? Man, I fucking wish. No, it's not. It's not. It's just straight up not, bro. For me, I just want them to make higher quality Pokemon games. Like, you know, I almost feel like I would be fine if the freaking combat was the same, but you gave me, like, voice acting and, like, real nice cutscenes and, like, a decent story, like a decent enough story to follow, characters to fall in love with, you know what I mean? I understand that Scarlet and Violet kind of did that, but the problem for me was that it was so cheaply made. Alright, here we go. Here's what's next. You won't even believe this. You won't believe this. These are literally... This is a DLC. Paid DLC for Pokemon Legends ZA. The game hasn't even come out yet. The game hasn't even come out yet. What are we doing? What are we doing? The game hasn't even come out yet. Alright, so for the rest of the Direct, there's nothing really cool. They have Resident Evil 9 coming out on the Switch too. That's cool. That is very interesting. Big fan of Resident Evil. And then they end with Fire Emblem. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, to me, it's kind of whatever. Right? But, listen. You know, going through all the games that came out on the Switch 2 after that Direct, guys, I'm not really sold on the Nintendo 2 Direct, on the Nintendo Switch 2 right now. And I'm still like, I almost feel like I just want to get the damn Steam Deck at this point. There's nothing here that moves me enough. Pretty much everything that we got in this direct was stuff that we already knew about, remakes or re-releases, DLCs, and a couple of cool games that you would get if you already had a Switch. You know what I mean? A lot of these games also, by the way, keep in mind, a lot of them are coming to the Switch 1. So the only real games that they even have for the Switch 2 that are going to be Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives are Mario Kart World, which is kind of a mess in my opinion. Also, keep in mind, they didn't show anything for Mario Kart World here. That's an $80 game that it doesn't look like they're looking to update, at least not right now, which is like, that's interesting. We have Donkey Kong Bonanza, which again, that looks like a banger. I've heard nothing but good things about it too. So, and then Metroid Prime 4 looks like a good game. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a game that's gonna move me enough to buy the system. But I don't know, guys. I'm really, really thinking about Nintendo right now, and I'm just like, I don't know. Are they missing the mark right now? Like, I feel like they kind of are. I feel like they have been for ever since like the Switch 1's life like was coming to a close. Like, they just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Here's what I think about the Switch 2. I think with the Switch 1, a lot of, reason that people really, really wanted and liked the Switch. It was a revolutionary idea, right? I get that. And the Switch 2 is kind of just iterative. It's just an iteration of the Switch. Understandable. However, what the Nintendo Switch 1 had was hella hype. I mean, like, hella hype. Like, and the first year was just filled with bangers. Dude, the game that dropped with the Switch 1 was Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild. And then you had Super Mario Odyssey come out that same year. I'm pretty sure it was 2017. You had Smash Bros. Coming out the next year. You have Mario Kart 8 that came out very, very shortly after because it was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right? Bangers. All bangers. And then, since you had so many bangers, all those cool games that you would get if you already had a Switch, well, guess what? You have a Switch now because you have so many freaking bangers. You want something to hold you over? Okay, you got some cool Pokemon games. You got this, you got that. Nintendo Switch 2, I don't know, man. They don't have as much hype. They were way too secretive with the release of it and the reveal of it. Mario Kart World, you know what I mean? It's interesting, right? Because we were thinking that they were being secretive about that game too. They weren't really showing too much about the game when they were revealing it. And then when the game drops, you hear a lot of people talking about there's not really that much to do. You know what I mean? So it wasn't even that they were being secretive. It's just that they didn't have shit. And now we're like, yo, man, maybe they're being secretive about the shit that they do have. No, I think it's really just that they don't have anything. I really just think that they don't have anything. This is what they have. They have Tamagotchi life. You know what I mean? Pokemon Legends ZA, which, again, I'm not entirely sold on. I don't think it's gonna move me. You know what I mean? It's also going to probably be like $70. They have a hell of a lot of remakes or re-releases. DLC for games that aren't even out yet. I don't know, man. I'm a big Nintendo fan, but I almost feel like it's time for me to leave Nintendo in the fucking dust, man. I just leave them in the past, man. They were great when you were a kid, man. They were great when you were a kid when you didn't have to buy all their shit, man. Oh, man. But I don't know, man. That's really all I got on Nintendo. A couple other things that I might make some videos on coming up, maybe. I did watch the Demon Slayer movie. That was a lot of fun. Me and Angelica actually really love Demon Slayer. There's all the Charlie Kirk stuff, which I don't really know if I want to make a video on that. There was a point in time where I did, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really too much of a political person. I don't like politics, if you want me to be honest with you. But I love humans, right? As a species. I don't know. I'm kind of getting into a different territory here. Anyway, what I will probably make another video on will probably be Pokemon Pokopia, because that shit looked pretty cool. It looked interesting. I don't know. Anyway, I'm done yapping. The video is 20 minutes long, so I've definitely yapped your ear off enough this time. Appreciate anybody who's watching. I'll catch y'all on the flip.